Hey guys, welcome back to Boring History Episodes. Tonight, we're not exploring grand cities, nor wandering through the majestic halls of kings and pharaohs, but standing instead in the shadow of something far older, a monument half buried and worn by time. We're not looking at the history of empires or rulers, but at something quieter, more elusive, the whispers of forgotten knowledge. This is not the history of Egypt's glorious past, but of questions that remain unanswered. You might picture it as a grand monument towering over the sands, the sun setting behind it, its stone carved perfectly, its face unyielding and eternal. But when you pull the veil back, the picture becomes less certain. The Sphinx stands weathered, its face worn down by centuries of forgotten winds, its body half covered by shifting dunes. Who carved it? Who witnessed its creation? And why, after thousands of years, does it still remain so silent? Even in the midst of great mysteries, the answers are seldom as clear as we wish. If you find yourself curious, drawn into the quiet mystery of this ancient figure, feel free to like or subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like, share in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. There's something strangely comforting about knowing that across the world, we're all connected by the same quiet story, a mystery older than we'll ever fully understand. Now settle in, dim your lights, and let the room grow still. Feel the air cool around you, like the winds that have swept across this desert for centuries. Imagine the scent of warm sand, the taste of ancient earth, the silence of stone that's seen more than we can ever know. Let your breath slow, as if the very weight of time has settled on your shoulders. And when the humor of the past rises, the absurdities, the contradictions, it will not break the spell. It will only soften it, like a flicker of light in the desert night, enough to warm, not burn. The world around you fades, and you hear only the sound of sand shifting, a soft creak in the silence of the desert. You feel the weight of the stones underfoot, the warmth of history. Chapter 1. The Silent Watcher. We are standing before the Sphinx, but not as tourists, not as people passing through. Imagine for a moment that you are one of the first to lay eyes on it. A strange, half-buried figure whose stone face is weathered, and whose lion's body lies lost beneath the sands. The air is heavy with heat. You can feel the sun's grip pressing down like a suffocating blanket, while the sands stretch out endlessly, undisturbed and silent. But there's something else, a tension in the air, a quiet weight that presses against you, as though the desert itself is holding its breath. You feel watched. Not by people, but by something far older. An ancient presence, silent and unblinking, that seems to linger just beyond your reach. This is not merely a monument, it is a memory carved into stone. And it waits. It has waited for millennia. The Sphinx stands before you, half hidden in the sands, its face worn and weathered, its features softened by time, yet still its gaze remains sharp. Despite the erosion, the countless storms, and the centuries of neglect, the Sphinx endures. It watches. It always watches. The workers who built the Sphinx had no machines, no modern tools, only copper chisels, stone hammers, and their bare hands. They had no blueprints, no elaborate designs, just a vision. Picture the scene. The hot, dry winds blowing across the plateau, dust swirling in the air, and the sound of chisels striking stone, a steady rhythm of labor echoing through the silence of the desert. The Sphinx was not built in a day, or even in a decade. It took years, perhaps decades, maybe even centuries, to carve this immense creature from the solid limestone of the plateau. The process was slow and painstaking, each blow of the chisel bringing it one step closer to completion. And yet, even as it took shape, the Sphinx remained a mystery. Who carved it? Who decided that this creature, half man, half lion, should rise from the sands of Giza? Some historians believe it was Pharaoh Khafre, ruler of Egypt's 4th dynasty, who ordered its construction. Khafre's pyramid stands behind it. A testament is not immune to time. The wind, the sand, and the harsh elements of the desert have worn it down. The face, once sharp and defined, has eroded. Its features have softened and blurred. The nose, once so prominent, is gone, shattered, broken by forces long debated. Some say Napoleon's soldiers fired cannonballs at the Sphinx during their invasion of Egypt, causing the damage. Others believe it was the relentless desert wind, stripping away the stone over millennia. Whatever the cause, the Sphinx remains incomplete. The missing nose, the defining feature of its face, has taken with it a piece of its history. Yet even in its broken state, the Sphinx endures. It is a reminder that time cannot erase everything. It wears the scars of its age, but it stands tall, unbowed, unbroken. The Sphinx has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the shifting of deserts, and the erosion of mountains. And still, it stands. It does not flinch. It does not waver. In its silence, it speaks volumes. It asks questions, but gives no answers. It watches, and it waits. What was this monument truly meant to guard? What secrets does it hold, locked within its stone heart? And why does it remain, silent and steadfast, when all else has crumbled? Think of the Sphinx as a book, its pages torn, some lost to time, its cover faded, its words barely legible. And yet the book still exists. The story is still there, waiting to be uncovered. We may not be able to read every page, but we can feel the weight of the story. We can sense its presence, like a whisper in the dark. The Sphinx does not need to give us all the answers. It only asks that we listen. It does not demand understanding, only curiosity. It offers no certainty, only wonder. The Sphinx is a riddle, its true meaning buried beneath the sands of time. We may never fully understand it, but we can appreciate its silence. We can listen to the questions it raises and the mysteries it holds. Of civilizations, through wars and peace, through the endless passing of centuries, and still it watches, still it waits. What was this monument truly meant to protect? What deeper secret does it hold beneath its weathered stone? The answer is lost in time, veiled in enigma, waiting for those willing to listen and understand what has been left behind. But perhaps the real question is not what the Sphinx watches over, but what it continues to teach us, even in its silence. And so, we stand here, wondering, what was the purpose behind this great creation? What does it still have to tell us? Chapter 2. The Desert's Quiet Echo. We are still standing before the Sphinx, its gaze fixed upon the horizon, unchanging, eternal. The sand shifts beneath our feet, as though the desert itself is alive, constantly moving and reshaping. Yet the Sphinx remains unmoved, steadfast, unyielding, untouched by the passing of time. Imagine, if you will, that the world around you falls away. The noise of modern life fades. The hum of the present dissolves. And for a brief moment, you are alone in the desert, standing beside something ancient, something that has witnessed time in ways we can scarcely comprehend. It is still hot, but the heat no longer feels oppressive. The sun begins to lower, casting long shadows across the plateau. The air grows thick with dust, but it does not sting your eyes. Instead, it settles gently, heavy with the weight of history, and all around you, the Sphinx watches in silence. You know the wind is blowing, yet the stillness feels deafening. The desert, vast and endless, somehow feels full, not empty but dense with the presence of the past, with the weight of unanswered questions pressing against the air. What does the Sphinx know? What does it see after all these thousands of years? Its silence feels heavy, not hollow but deliberate. A silence that demands attention, that asks to be felt rather than broken. You want to look away, but you can't. Something about it pulls you in, a quiet gravity that compels you to understand, to ask the unanswerable. What is it that has kept this monument alive for so long? If the Sphinx could speak, what stories would it tell? Would it recount the rise and fall of civilizations, the men and women who lived and died beneath its shadow, the pharaohs whose names were carved into eternity, yet faded all the same? Would it speak of ambition, of power, of the human desire to outlast time itself? Or perhaps it would tell a different story, not of kings and dynasties, but of the quiet, forgotten ones, the workers, the craftsmen, the laborers whose hands shaped the Sphinx from the bedrock of the desert. The chisel, their names have long been forgotten. Their work remains, in the silent endurance of the stone that still stands today. Even as time has worn its features, and the desert has shifted around it, the Sphinx endures. It is not perfect, not the pristine monument it may once have been, but perhaps it has become something greater, a relic that speaks of time itself. Through its silence, the past speaks. Through its cracks and weathered lines, history breathes. You can't help but wonder, what does the Sphinx truly protect? What does it guard, if not the memory of the people who built it? The wind rises again, and for a moment you think you hear something. Faint whispers carried through the sand. Are they voices? Echoes of the past? Or perhaps only the desert itself, trying to tell you something it has told countless others before? Maybe it's the same question that has haunted travelers for millennia. Who built the Sphinx? What did they mean for it to represent? Did they know it would outlast their empires, their names, their very civilizations? For thousands of years, the Sphinx has watched. Through the rise of kingdoms and the fall of empires. Through the shifting sands and the changing of the earth itself. And yet it remains, silent and steadfast, as if both protector and prisoner. A guardian of memories, the keeper of time. It watches, but it does not speak. Why? What does it know that we do not? Think of the Sphinx as an ancient photograph. Faded, its edges torn and curling, the image within unclear yet powerful. It captures something of what once was, but not the whole story. Fragments, hints, traces of a greater truth. In the same way, the Sphinx is a fragment, a single piece of a vast, missing puzzle. We can look upon it, measure it, touch it, study it, but we will never fully hear its story. It is a puzzle box with a missing piece, forever incomplete. And perhaps that incompleteness is its true meaning. A reminder that lie within its silent gaze. The answers are lost, buried beneath the sands of time. But even in that loss, there is meaning. The Sphinx stands as a monument to the unknown, to the mysteries that will forever elude us, to the truth that not all things are meant to be explained. Some truths are meant to be felt, not solved. And as you stand before it, in the cool breath of desert night, under the gaze of eternity, you begin to understand. The Sphinx is not merely a relic of the past, but a living witness to time itself. It speaks not with words, but through silence. A silence that holds everything, and in that silence, if you listen closely enough, you can almost hear the echo of the desert, the whispers of those who came before, still asking, still wondering, what was this monument truly meant to guard? Who built it? And why does it still stand? The answers may never come, but the Sphinx will continue to watch, to wait, to ask the questions we are still too afraid to answer. Chapter 3. The Echo of Eternity. We are standing before the Sphinx once again, its immense stone body half covered by shifting dunes, the silhouette of a lion's face gazing out into the vast desert. But today, it does not feel like just a monument. It feels alive, as though it breathes the weight of history itself. Each grain of sand that touches its surface seems to whisper a story, a tale that we will never fully understand. The Sphinx stands silent, its eyes darkened by time, its mouth slightly parted, as though it holds a secret too heavy to share. You wonder, what does it know? What memories does it carry from the time before Egypt became what we know it to be? The winds shift, sweeping the sands across the statue's body, as though trying to erase what has been carved in stone. But the Sphinx remains. It has stood for thousands of years, witnessing the rise and fall of empires, the birth and death of kings, the endless flow of the Nile that once brought life to this land. You can feel the weight of all that time pressing in on you, but the Sphinx does not falter. It does not move. It stands as a silent guardian, watching over the desert, waiting for someone to understand its purpose. And yet we are left with questions. Questions that have no easy answers. What was the Sphinx meant to guard? What secrets does it hold beneath its weathered surface? As you stand before it, you can almost feel the stone growing warmer under the sun, as though the monument itself is absorbing your curiosity, your desire to understand. You cannot help but wonder. How many others have stood in the same place, gazing up at the Sphinx, asking the same questions? For how long has this enigma haunted the minds of those who dared to seek the truth? The ingenuity that went into creating the Sphinx is nothing short of astounding. Carved from a single block of limestone, it is not just a statue. It is a masterpiece of engineering and artistry. At the time it was built, of each new day, a reminder that time, like the sun, will always rise again. The creators of the Sphinx knew the significance of this alignment. They understood the sacred connection between the rising sun and the cycle of life. By positioning the monument to face east, they aligned it, not just with the sun, but with the very essence of rebirth and renewal. And yet, we are still left with the question, why was this monument created? Was it simply a symbol of the pharaoh's power, a tribute to the gods? Or was there something more profound at work here? A deeper purpose that we have yet to fully comprehend? The answer, perhaps, is not something we can grasp with our minds alone. Perhaps the Sphinx was never meant to be understood in the way we understand other monuments. Perhaps it was created not merely to stand as a testament to human achievement, but to invite us to ask questions, to seek knowledge, to ponder the mysteries that lie hidden in the sands of time. The cost of building the Sphinx was immense. It required the labor of countless workers, the expertise of master craftsmen, and the dedication of a society that poured its heart and resources into creating something eternal. And yet, despite the grand scale of this undertaking, the true cost of the Sphinx cannot be measured in bricks or stone. The real cost lies in the questions it leaves behind. Questions that have remained unanswered for millennia. Who built it? Why was it built? What was its purpose? And why, after so many years, do we still stand before it, searching for answers that may never come? The Sphinx stands as a monument to mystery, a symbol of all that we do not know, all that we cannot understand. It has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the destruction of cities, the passage of countless generations. Yet, its silence endures. The cost of creating the Sphinx was not measured only in resources or time. It was measured in the unanswered questions it has left in its wake. For as much as we have learned about ancient Egypt, the Sphinx remains a riddle that cannot be solved. And perhaps that is its true purpose: to remind us that there are things in this world that are beyond our understanding. Grasp. But that does not mean we should stop asking. The Sphinx does not ask us to abandon our search for knowledge. It asks us to approach the unknown with humility, to seek understanding, yet to accept that some things are beyond us. Perhaps the true message of the Sphinx is this: the search for answers is not as important as the questions themselves. It is the questions that drive us forward, that push us to explore the unknown, to seek out the mysteries of the universe. And in that search, we find not just answers, but wisdom, a deeper understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. As the day fades into night, the Sphinx stands there, a silent sentinel in the desert. The sun sets behind it, casting long shadows across the sand. The air cools, and the world around you quiets. In the stillness of the desert, the Sphinx feels even more ancient, more timeless. Its stone face, once sharp and proud, is now softened by centuries of erosion, but its gaze remains steady. It still watches. And as you stand before it, you realize that the questions you've been asking, the same questions that have haunted explorers, archaeologists, and dreamers for centuries, are not just questions about the Sphinx. They are questions about life itself, about time, about the mysteries of the universe. What does the Sphinx guard? What is it protecting? The answers may never come, but the Sphinx, in all its silent glory, remains a reminder that some mysteries are eternal. Some questions will never be fully answered. And that, in itself, is something to be cherished. So as the stars begin to appear above the desert, the Sphinx remains, its gaze fixed on the horizon, its silent question echoing through the night. What was this monument meant to guard? What does it protect? We may never know. But in the quiet of the desert, in the stillness of the Sphinx, we find something even more profound. The invitation to keep searching, to keep asking, to keep listening.
Chapter 4. The Weight of Time.
We stand before the Sphinx once again, the desert stretching out before us, vast, infinite, and silent. Yet in this endless expanse, the monument stands timeless, looming in the distance like a solitary figure, unmoving, unyielding, and eternal. Carved from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx captivates and perplexes all who gaze upon it. Rising 66 feet, 20 meters tall, its lion's body stretches 240 feet, 73 meters in length. Though its face has been weathered and eroded by centuries of wind and sandstorms, it remains stern and unwavering, its gaze forever fixed eastward toward the rising sun. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE, the Sphinx is as enigmatic as it is grand. It has witnessed over 4,500 years of history, enduring the relentless forces of nature, the heat, the winds, the shifting sands that have buried and uncovered it countless times. Its missing nose, its partially buried body, and its softened features all tell a story of survival, of time's quiet power to both preserve and erase. And yet, as we stand before it, the same questions arise again. What does this monument truly mean? What was its purpose? Who built it? And why does it stand alone in such silence? These are questions that have haunted historians and archaeologists for centuries, and still, no answer has come. The Sphinx is more than just a statue. It is a marvel of ancient engineering and artistry. Carved from a single block of limestone, taken directly from the plateau on which it rests, its scale defies comprehension. A masterpiece of human ingenuity and vision. The builders, whose names are lost to time, left behind a testament to their genius. With copper tools and stone chisels, they carved its face, its body, and the intricate details that still echo the craftsmanship of a civilization deeply attuned to geometry, proportion, and the natural order. How then did they achieve such? Laborers, engineers and architects must have toiled for years under the burning sun to carve and shape the monument. It required not just resources of stone, metal and manpower, but also an immense devotion of spirit. To build the Sphinx was not merely to erect a statue. It was to build eternity itself. A bridge between man and God, between the fleeting and the infinite. And yet, the Sphinx's purpose remains elusive. Was it built to guard the tombs of kings? To honor the sun god Ra? To serve as a divine guardian of the land and the pharaoh's spirit? The answers, if they ever existed, are long lost to time. What remains is the mystery and the message that greatness always bears a cost. Over millennia, the Sphinx has endured wind and flood, sandstorm and erosion, each carving away at its form, but never its essence. The true consequence of its creation, perhaps, is its vulnerability. Though meant to stand against eternity, even the strongest stone yields to time. And in that fragility, the Sphinx reveals something profoundly human. No matter how great our creations, they too will fade. No matter how powerful our empires, they too will crumble. The Sphinx stands as both triumph and elegy, a symbol of endurance and impermanence entwined. Its missing nose, its weathered form, its half-buried body, all are scars of time's quiet dominance. Yet despite it all, it remains. Steadfast, defiant, alive in silence. Think of the Sphinx as a great tree, an ancient oak rooted deep in the earth, its branches reaching skyward through centuries of storm and drought. The bark may crack, The leaves may fall, but still it stands, its roots gripping the soil, its presence a silent testament to endurance. The Sphinx is that tree in stone. Its trunk is the body, its gaze the upward reach of spirit, its erosion small part of an eternal story stretching far beyond our lives. The Sphinx has watched countless generations come and go, yet it remains a testament to ambition, resilience, and the delicate balance between creation and decay. Its true meaning lies not in the answers we seek, but in the questions it inspires. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be lived. And so, as the night deepens and the stars shimmer over the desert, the Sphinx remains, silent, unbroken, eternal. And we, standing in its shadow, become part of its mystery, listening, wondering, and continuing the eternal search for meaning beneath the weight of time. Chapter 5. Echoes of the Past. We approach the Sphinx once again, not as mere visitors, but as witnesses beneath the blazing sun that beats down on the Giza plateau, its rays casting long shadows across the sands. There, against the backdrop of the barren expanse, the Sphinx stands unwavering, a quiet guardian of secrets too ancient for us to understand. Its gaze remains fixed eastward toward the horizon where the sun rises, as if it still sees beyond what we can perceive. What does it know? What truths does it hold? Is it merely a statue, or something more? Something alive within the silence of stone? Built around 2500 BCE, the Sphinx was carved by ancient hands, its body stretching 240 feet in length and standing 66 feet tall. Though its face has been weathered by centuries of storms and shifting sands, it still carries an air of mystery. The Sphinx has watched the passage of more than 4,500 years, standing through ages of kings and conquerors, empires and dust. But through all that time, what has it seen? What has it learned? As we stand before it now, the questions multiply like echoes through time. Who built it? Why was it built? And why does it continue to stand, its silent face staring into eternity? Despite its monumental size and the sheer weight of its history, the Sphinx is surrounded by even greater mysteries. Some believe it was constructed to guard the tombs of the pharaohs. Others say it was built to honor the sun god Ra. Yet none of these theories fully explain why this lion-bodied, human-faced figure was created in the first place. What was its true purpose? Was it merely a tribute to the divine, or something far deeper, something that transcends religion and symbolism itself? Even now, as we stand before it, the answers seem just out of reach. The Sphinx keeps its silence. It watches, patient and eternal, waiting for someone worthy to uncover the truth. What makes the Sphinx so compelling is not only its size, but the craftsmanship and genius that gave it form. To carve such a monument from the living rock required extraordinary skill and understanding. Hewn from a single toward the dawn, representing the soul's awakening to eternity. Whatever the meaning, the precision of its design stands as an enduring testament to human ingenuity, vision, and devotion. Yet the questions do not end there. What tools could have shaped so massive a form from solid stone? Why choose this exact spot, at the edge of the Giza plateau, beside the pyramids of Khufu and Khafre? Was the Sphinx part of a larger cosmic design, aligned with the stars and temples of the ancient world? Or was it the solitary dream of a single pharaoh, seeking to leave his mark upon eternity? We may never know. The Sphinx, imposing and silent, remains a riddle in stone, a monument to the brilliance and mystery of human creation, and in its endurance, it reminds us of the paradox of greatness, that everything built to last must one day face decay. The winds that shaped it will one day erase it, just as time erases all things. The construction of the Sphinx, like all great works, came at a cost not measured only in stone and sweat, but in devotion, sacrifice, and belief. Thousands of workers, craftsmen, engineers, and laborers must have toiled for years under the merciless sun, carving and hauling, shaping and smoothing. Their hands grew calloused, their backs bent beneath the weight of their task. Yet for them, this was not just labor, it was worship. Each stroke of the chisel, each block moved, was an offering to the pharaoh and to the gods. For the builders, the Sphinx was not a statue, but a living symbol of divine power, a guardian of eternity itself. Some believed it protected the tombs of kings, others that it embodied the spirit of Ra, whose light renewed the world each dawn. Whatever they believed, their faith was carved into the stone, just as deeply as the figure itself. But time, relentless as the desert wind, shows no mercy. Over the centuries, the Sphinx has suffered under the elements, battered by sandstorms, scorched by sun, and softened by rain. Its face, once sharply defined, has been worn smooth. Its massive body, once proud and clear, lies partially buried beneath the shifting sands. Its nose, long missing, has become a symbol of what time takes from us all. Some say it was destroyed by Napoleon's soldiers. Without words, it holds the memory of a civilization long vanished, its message echoing through the ages. Each grain of sand that touches it is like a letter in that forgotten text, one we can never fully read, but one that still shapes us. Just as a book carries the voice of its author, the Sphinx carries the voice of its makers. It is not only a monument, it is a message, a whisper from the past to those of us still searching. As the stars rise above the desert and the air cools, the Sphinx remains unchanged. It stands as both a monument to the past and a symbol of the future, a reminder that time, though endless, is also fleeting. Its gaze remains fixed on the horizon, watching the sun's eternal return, waiting for the next chapter of its story to unfold. And as you stand before it, you begin to understand. The Sphinx is not merely stone, not merely history. It is the embodiment of the eternal cycle, the rhythm of life and death, creation and decay. It is a bridge between what was and what will be, between humanity and the infinite. As night deepens and the desert falls into silence, the Sphinx endures, motionless, timeless, unbroken. And we, standing in its shadow, are reminded that we too are part of this vast, unending mystery. Like the Sphinx, we are watchers, seekers, echoes of the past, still yearning toward the light. As we stand before the Sphinx, its silent gaze fixed on the horizon, we are reminded of the passage of time, of the countless generations that have come and gone, and yet the Sphinx remains, a monument to the past, but also a beacon for the future. In the quiet solitude of the desert, this monumental guardian endures, its meaning and purpose still shrouded in mystery. What was it built for? What was the true purpose behind its creation? And why does it still stand? A silent sentinel against the relentless march of time. Perhaps, like so many of humanity's greatest creations, its true significance lies not in the answers, but in the questions it continues to raise. The Sphinx has withstood the ravages of nature, the winds, the sands, the floods, but it remains unbroken, unshaken, and silent in its eternal vigil. We may never know all the answers, but the journey to uncover them is what keeps us searching. As we contemplate this majestic monument, we are reminded of our own impermanence. We too will fade. Our legacies will erode. But perhaps, like the Sphinx, there will be something enduring in what we leave behind. The Sphinx reminds us that some mysteries are meant to remain unanswered. It teaches us the value of the search, the pursuit of understanding, and the quiet dignity of standing in the face of time. So, as the night falls over the desert and the stars slowly emerge above, we can take solace in the quiet wisdom of the Sphinx, its gaze still fixed on the east, its stone face carved by hands long gone. And as we step back, our thoughts filled with the unanswered questions it leaves in its wake, we realize that its silence is part of the message. Thank you for joining us on this quiet journey, where the whispers of the past linger in the stillness. If this exploration has settled into your thoughts, feel free to like and subscribe. Only if it brings you peace. Only if it adds to the quiet. And if you'd like, share your thoughts in the comments below. Where are you listening from tonight? Let's keep the conversation soft, like the fading echoes